So the amazing world of phonetics. You can revise these 4 with a P, and then we're going to move on to the B. Move on, which is the title of the next unit. Haha, move on. I was looking for a song. There's a song which is Move On, but you don't want to listen to it. But anyway, just in case you are curious about it. I've heard it in some songs, but there's one with this title, but it's not the one I thought. Okay. So, the B is the same as P, but with voice. However, here in the P, you exaggerate a lot, like this breathing out. However, in the B, it's not so obvious, or the difference with Spanish is not so big. You say balloon, black. You can't see much of a difference. Try to make sure. The problem is that sometimes people say I've been. No, I've been. Okay, you have to be careful. When it's a V, it's a V. When it's a B, it's a B. Okay, so the big black bull bellowed and the bold man bowed. Okay, bellowed is bramó, no, the noise that bulls or cows make. Bold, atrevido. Bald, no hair. Bowed, inclinarse, no. Bow is hace una referencia. So again, the big black bull bellowed and the bold man bowed. This is bold, O, like hello. This is bold, like ball, like a football. Okay, so you can practice a little bit until you can do it without having to look at it. Okay, so moving on. Move on is like pasar a otra cosa. Okay, let's move on. What do you have here? Multiple matching part 3 from the listening focus. Okay, this is probably the most difficult exercise. For some people, it is the most difficult. Some people find it very difficult. So you have an exercise that we'll do when you come to class next week. Okay, it's what you think these jobs will involve, so you can think about it, take some notes. Okay, do you know what this is? Well, robotics engineer is someone who makes robots, but for example, a kitchen robot like Thermomix, not a Thermomix, that's a robot. Social networking counselor is someone who gives advice, normally it's like psychological advice. Okay, you have problems, so a counselor. And social networking, so problems related to social networking sites like bullying and so on. Spaceship pilot, a problem. Vertical farmer, you have a picture here, I think. That's vertical farming. Normally it's horizontal farming, so this is vertical farming. Okay, because it goes up. And virtual lawyer, a lawyer, but it's not face-to-face, it's virtual. So think about what these jobs may involve, what they may spend a lot of time doing. Okay, because these are the 5 jobs that you have. Remember, part 3 is where you have 5 speakers and then you have 8 sentences. So basically you will listen to the first one, and the first one will say things which are similar to some of these, but they'll say a paraphrase, for example, for this one. Okay, or for this one. So you need to hear the paraphrase. So you say, okay, no, he said something like, we have to be available all the time. So on demand is bajo demanda, no? Whenever someone needs you, you are ready. So you are ready on demand. So that's E. So you write E. So this is the theory. In practice, it is difficult because sometimes the words are a bit confusing. Well, not the words, but some what you have here. Sometimes you may hear one of the words. Okay, hearing the word doesn't mean that that is the answer. Okay, sometimes it may be possible. So you may hear on demand, but it's not E because it doesn't say being something similar to being available. It says something else, or longer hours. Okay, or it says hours. Okay, yeah. But is the rest of the sentence the same as this? Working longer hours? This is what you have to be really careful with. So, procedure. Number 1, you read this so that you know what it's about. For example, a key, something that you may not realize, and I messed it up already. Okay, you may not realize, but the task says what their jobs will involve in the future. That is the question, because they may say, oh, right now I'm spending lots of time traveling. Yeah, well, okay, but that is the present. It is what they will say about the future. This is likely to, is bound to, probably in the future, in a few months, next month. Okay, that is in the future. Okay, so not what they are doing now, because they may mention, some of them mention what they are doing now, but they refer to the future. So be very careful with that, because that's one of the problems in this one. So first of all, you read the task, make sure that you know what the question is, and then you highlight the keywords. Remember, the fewer words you highlight, the better. So stop it. I'm going to show you the words I've highlighted. Okay, so these are keywords. So whenever they mention something about resources, no, like electricity, so I'm looking at this one, and then I try to concentrate to see if what the speaker says is similar to this. When they mention something about, oh, I work a lot, so it's something about longer hours, or on demand, I'm always available, or I'm always there, that's on demand. It will be less expensive, so I'm looking at this one. Okay, then you make sure that the rest of the sentence is the same, but at least you can focus on one. Okay, just by looking at the keywords. Otherwise, it's impossible to be reading all 8 sentences all the time while you are listening. Okay, so that's it. Stop the video. I play the listening, and I'm going to give you the answers in 3, 2. I'm going to give you the answers. I'm going to give you the answers. Okay, make sure you've done it. Okay, so I want you now to spend some time finding the evidence for each of these. Okay, you have it on page 214. Okay, remember, you should have listened to it twice. I'll put it in the task just in case. Okay, so the script. Number 1 was E being available on demand. So you see, it will be this means that we'll have to change our working patterns and work out of office hours when required. So when required, on demand, out of office hours, we'll have to work that is available. So we'll have to work. This is the idea of working on demand when we are required. So for example, here hours and you hear work and hours. So perhaps you thought it was G. Yeah, but it's not what it's saying. Okay. So please make sure you've made an effort to find the evidence. Even better, you should have tried to find the evidence just by listening. But anyway, this is good enough. Okay, 2D, a lower cost. So say this surgery will be cheaper. Okay, routine operations like will be cheaper. So a lower cost. This operation will be cheaper. 3A, recruits. No, this is where is it? I'll be recruiting airline pilots and training them. So recruiting and training them. So he's going to be working with new employees. He's going to be training new pilots, new employees. Working is training them. Okay, 4C, less time traveling. We don't have, okay, not having a long commute into work. So for example, here you have work and long. Yeah, but it's this one. It's not G. G said long and work. Yeah, but it's not the same. Okay, so less time traveling. The commute is the trip you make to go to work and come back. That is a commute. So for example, I don't really have a commute. It takes me 5 minutes or 10 minutes to come here. Those who work in Alicante have a 30-minute commute or 1 hour commute, 30 to go and 30 to come back. Those 4C and 5H. Okay, and will run on wind and solar energy. So this is better use of power resources. Okay, so water recycled, and the electricity comes from the wind and solar energy. So that's it. Okay, so please make sure, nice to make sure you've done it well. So prepare some notes for these questions. Okay, these are referred to the 5 jobs we've seen above. Okay, so a little bit of vocabulary. Ready? These are collocations and phrasal verbs with work. This is vocabulary. You have this in the ABCD exercise. You usually have things that have to do or deal with vocabulary, collocations, phrasal verbs. So you need to choose only one collocates with this. For example, satisfaction. So which one collocates with satisfaction? Work, job, or employment. Okay, so stop the video and try your best. Ready? So the first one is job satisfaction. I think this one is in the exam. It is what it is. Job satisfaction. You are happy with your job. So whenever I see people learn and speak to me in English perfectly, I get great job satisfaction. Okay, job security. So counseling again is like counseling is orientador, for example, like orientador. At high school you have un orientador, that's a counselor. Okay, in America it was called guidance counselor, because they guided you, they gave you advice. Counsel is advice. So job security, for example, I don't know if there's much job security in bars, for example, or restaurants. Okay, especially in bars, because you don't know when they're going to close, so there isn't much job security. These are collocations. They are what they are. Okay, so male is male or female. Okay, women or men. Male is men. Occupation, it is what it is. Occupation. Or nursing was seen as a female occupation. Trabajo para mujeres. Okay, no, trabajo para hombres. So male occupation, it is what it is. Okay, the medical profession. Okay, or the teaching profession, la profesión médica, like in Spanish. Okay, medical profession. Okay, this one. Some of these are not very common. For example, job satisfaction and job security are pretty common. Employment agency is pretty common. You have ADECO. You have ADECO Estudiantes. I don't know if it's still the name of the team, but ADECO is an employment agency. I remember I used it when I was in England. We went to ADECO or a similar one. They find you, or they try to find you a job. Okay, so employment agency. I remember using this in England. Okay, so career opportunities are the opportunities of climbing the ladder. Okay, this is the word that you have to write for today to see if you're actually listening. To climbing the ladder. It is to climb the ladder. It's like to become more successful. So it's like if you are a clerk. A clerk is like secretary or something like that. Then you become manager. Then you become regional manager. Then you can become national manager. Something like that. Okay, so you have career opportunities to make progress within the company. Okay, so make sure you've written down to climb the ladder. Otherwise, I know that you are not listening to this. Okay, please, I would encourage you not to share this information with other people. Okay, each one should be responsible for their own work. Okay, now phrasal verbs. Remember, what's a phrasal verb? A verb with a preposition when the meaning of the verb changes. Okay, if you say I work at a school, that's not a phrasal verb. It's you work in a place, so that's it. Or the other day I ran to the school. That's to is a preposition, but that's not a phrasal verb. Okay, it's like run out of. Okay, that's a sin, so that's a phrasal verb. It has nothing to do with correr. Okay, so look at the context very carefully. This can help you. Look at the context and choose the one that you think matches that meaning. Stop the video. I'm going to give you the answers in 3, 2, 1. Okay. One workout is calculate. Normally to work out is when you go have dinner with some friends and then okay, let's work out how much we have to pay. Just calculate. Okay. So things. So what I'm going to, I'm not even going to write the answer. Okay, work out, calculate. Things worked out really well. Normally, you don't need to say well. You can just say things worked out. But if you want to emphasize, you can say really well. You use this normally when, for example, you are going out with someone and then you break up. And someone asks you, hey, how's it going? It didn't work out. So it didn't have a good result. So if it's bad, it didn't work out. If it had a good result, it worked out pretty well. In Bridget Jones, you had a sentence when Bridget was going to organize dinner for her friends, and she said, my friends knew that dinner at my place wouldn't work out, so wouldn't have a good result. So that would be C. Okay? No iba a salir bien la cosa. This is like get on with someone. Normally, we don't get on, you don't need to say we don't get on well. So this is the same. You can omit well. Okay, to get worked up, especially if a customer is rude, so you can guess here, worked up, okay, is to get upset. So that is B. Okay, I get worked up. You can write it down, to get all worked up. I've seen this. I remember a student used it and I checked. Okay, for emphasis, I get all worked up. It's like I get really, really angry. So I get all worked up. I get all worked up when I find out that people haven't been doing this properly. Okay, for typical meaning of workout is at the gym. Okay, it doesn't necessarily have to be at the gym. Okay, because I remember when I was in America, I had a friend, and he was teaching in the next room, and he said, "Oh, I had a good workout today." And perhaps is that he went running to the hill and he did series, other series up the hill. And he said, "Oh, I had a great workout this morning." So workout can be just entreno. I had an application for running and cycling and so on the mobile phone, and when I had it in English, it said workouts. Do you understand? So like entrenos. So to work out is entrenar. But it's true that if you don't give any context, it means at the gym, like lifting weights. There's a film called American Beauty, I think, where they mention this. They say, "Oh, you've been working out." So they don't say at the gym, but the guy has been working out, not at the gym, at home, but lifting weights and so on, and he's stronger now. So normally if you don't give any context, you've been working out. Okay? Te está machacando, no? Like in Spanish, if you say te está machacando, the idea is not you've been running a lot to train for a race. Te está machacando normally is at the gym. So it's more or less like that. Okay, we need to work out who the person is. We need to work out when we had these restrictions. I had to work out how to manage all the groups. So it's find a solution. No, you have this number 5. No? Okay, plan, decide. So find a solution, decide who's going to do something. Okay, this is the best thing I've been able to work out. To decide, to plan, to arrange, solve. Okay, work around it. This is normally, I give an example. Imagine you are walking down the street and there's an obstacle here. So you can't walk through it. So you will have to walk around it to continue walking. So this is the same. There's a problem. Okay, for example, we have a problem with these restrictions, but we have to continue teaching. So I had to find a way to work around these restrictions. The fact that we can only have 12 students in class. So I did that by dividing groups, having some students work online through Classroom, and then rotating the groups that come to class so that you get some speaking practice. So we've been able more or less to work around the restrictions. Okay, it means to continue working despite the problem. For example, Chris went left. He had a paternity leave because he had a baby a month and a half ago, I think. So we had to work around that too. So we hired someone in summer, and he was here in September training and so on, so that he could take over the lessons. So we could work around that person. We didn't have to stop giving lessons to Chris's groups. Okay, so that's the idea of work around. Is manage a situation? No, right. Yeah, you can say manage. Is to deal with something so that you can continue doing what you are doing. So I want you to write one sentence for each of these 6. Okay, so that you can do that for homework is in a document if possible. An extra sentence with each of these 6 sentences. I've been giving you examples for all 6. You can go back and listen to the video. So you can do this. Okay, exercise 7, extra sentence. And that's it. Okay, notice this. That sometimes you can separate this. It's like turn off the light or turn the light off. You can do it. Sometimes you can't. For example, if you work out at the gym, you can say, I work every day out. No problem. Not possible. But you can work a problem out. I can work it out. That's the song. We can work it out. We can work it out. I like that song better. So I remember things from songs. I don't know anything else from that song, but I remember that. We can work it out. We can work it out. We can find a solution. Okay, that's a typical collocation. So, we can work it out. It's okay. Don't worry. We can work it out. Don't start crying now. Okay, so that's it. Make sure you've listened to the video. Otherwise, you'll have an unpleasant surprise. Thank you very much. Bye.